Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more City Skylines in Praetoria. Apparently there was a fire in Lazarus Park and I missed it. Well, that's no fun. Anyway, in the last video, we did set up the Modus Ponens district, which is going to be a big tourism district, and I've reworked a lot of it to try and place down plenty of big monuments and tourist attractions, lots of parks, and still leave myself at least a little bit of room to grow. I think I'm also going to rename our city zoo to Foxy Trot Zoo after all. I don't know, I was thinking Foxtrot sounded good, but the more I've sat on it, the more I'm like, you know what, Foxy Trot actually does sound better. I like that better, so we're gonna go ahead and do some of that. Let's get a little bit of water over here, and boom. So lots of landmarks are placed down, including things like the observation tower to try and boost up surrounding parks. We've got the modern art museum, the Oriental Pearl Tower, science center, department stores, some cinemas, expo centers, transport centers. I did place down a stadium specifically with one-way roads to try and guide around traffic, a robotic institute, the Central Park, etc., etc. So there's a lot to do over here if we can get the hotels for it. But that is why I have zoned all of this territory out, so we can have lots of hotels, restaurants, other great things placed over here. Then it's just a matter of trying to manage where people travel within the district. And that's why we do have trams to help loop into the rest of the city, but also a monorail to get around this. Also, I have some buses set up, and I went for some extra, there they are, metro stations and a big loop this way to try and, again, help move people around at least a little bit. Another thing that I am setting up is going to be a tour bus system. I think it's, Sightseeing Bus. This is what I placed down over here. And the idea is, with a Sightseeing Bus, it's just a very easy way to get people around from landmark to landmark without clogging up the roads too much with either their cars or taxis, or even the sidewalks as they walk around. So I've got a nice big loop that goes through here, and the purple zones are the ones that have the highest appeal value, and therefore are places we really want to go. I also have them dropping off to places like the Natural Reserve and stuff. You can see that the Leisure District and the Fun Deck actually has a fair bit of appeal to it as well, and the parks that we've built are exceptionally appealing. That's just because I'm such a good park designer, obviously. I'm very good at parks and recreation. So I've got all that set up. And the hope is, as we start to see the demand pick up and tourism become a thriving, hopefully, industry in this area, then maybe, just maybe, we are going to have use for all these different forms of public transportation, and hopefully they keep up with all of our needs. No guarantee, but we'll see. Oh, here's something weird. Am I crazy? Or are these people floating? Yep, look at these guys. Oh, now he's got legs. Okay. I think it's just a thing where, like, it's trying to save my graphics card by zooming out, because these guys were literally just hovering around like a ghost. Poltergeists. I think with the walking sticks, this might mean that these are, in fact, tourists. Yep. Medium wealth seniors. And they want to go on things like walking trails, which is another thing that I did set up in conjunction with the sightseeing booths. If you go over to, what is it? Is it this? Yes. You can do a walking tour point of interest. And I have something a bit more local in this area, encouraging people to walk up and down the streets, see some of the cool stuff, and then hang out by our hotels and our restaurants and not go too far into the city. Now, speaking of traffic, something else I was looking into were the traffic in some of my larger streets. Is this place still on freaking fire in Lazarus Park? Good lord, heal please. Anyway, I was looking at some of the streets here and I noticed a few problems. You may already see some changes that I made. In particular, some of these avenues were looking really stuck. And what I came to the conclusion of is that this giant, almost roundabout-ish set of large roads is pretty effective at getting people around to a degree, but it's very limiting as far as a very inefficient path to get to different sides of the city. For example, if we enter into the city coming from this direction over here, right, and people then wanted to get over to this side of the city, they'd have to travel all the way down over here, and then there was one road that stretched between them, creating a pretty massive bottleneck from several different directions. What I'm trying to do now, and we're going to experiment with this and see if it works, was create a series of roundabouts underneath the highway itself in order to try and encourage better flow, so these guys get off the highway and they have an immediate opportunity to get over to this side or continue traveling down, but they don't have to travel too far before once again they have an opportunity to get down over here. And rather than creating a four-way junction between these with inefficient lights, I figured that doing something with a roundabout with, let's say, you know, going into one-way roads with yield signs or stop signs so that people don't have to sit at a light is probably the most efficient way to keep cars going. And this was the major traffic buildup, and you can see here it's actually looking fantastic. Now, part of that is because we did alleviate a lot of the traffic over here by creating this new area, so now people want to take this, but we're getting through it. I just have a lot of buses on their way to the metro because of some of the changes I made. Nonetheless, this is looking kind of reasonable. But also, I was seeing there were a lot of people walking around and trying to use our crosswalks, which was slowing down our people's ability, or our cars' ability to get through an intersection. So, despite the fact that you see walkways here, notice no one's using them. And that's because I went to the Traffic Manager mod, and I changed the junctions to say you're not allowed to cross over here. This is not an acceptable location. I do not want people crossing and impeding the flow. This area is critical that cars can move through as fast as we can. So instead, I created some of these walking paths over here and ways to get across the city. And you can see that people are actually making use of them pretty liberally. So it's working. Our little ants are finding ways of getting around the maze, which is great. Another thing I'm making use of, and I'm finding it's working way better, is actually the yield signs, right here with priority signs. You can specifically say that certain intersections, like this one, for example, we haven't done this yet, I want to make this into the priority lane right along here, and I want this to become the yield lane, so if you see an oncoming car, you stop. But if there isn't an oncoming car, you don't have to come to a complete stop at the sign and then go. This is going to be just a little bit faster, although obviously they're not doing a very good job of yielding when they're told to. That's kind of weird. What are you guys doing, actually? Also, why are you guys okay, well, this is a bad example. Apparently, this has somehow made everything worse. Huh. I could turn this into a stop sign and make that a little bit better, I guess. Or not. Okay, I don't know. Maybe this is a bad example of what's going on with this. Let's actually delete all of these. This actually might be a candidate to have a stoplight, believe it or not. I know that sounds crazy, but now I'm kind of wondering if that would be a better way to go. Set up a stoplight so it's we're able to stop a flow of traffic along here, get people off the highway, and then have a dedicated time to get people over here so we don't clog up the roundabout too much. That might be a way to go. So we're going to see this turn green in just a moment. Everyone's getting off of the highway, including emergency vehicles. Now these guys stop, and off we go. We alleviate a lot of the pressure coming up over here, and then it's still not enough. Now, here's what I don't like. What I don't like is seeing that light went to green, and then red, then green, very quickly, right? What we could do is try to mess with the timed traffic lights. And I'll be honest, I still don't fully understand this at all. I know there's supposed to be ways of making this better, right? We could have some steps into this thing. I thought there was a way to, like, I don't know, control click and it would do kind of a default option. Well, it's supposed to be showing me the individual states of the lights, the crosswalks, and so on, going through all the individual steps, but for some reason it's not showing me that. Nonetheless, I'm watching it, and it does seem to more or less be following the minimums to a degree. So I have changed this to be a minimum of 5 seconds, right? So we can watch this happen. So this is about to turn green. 1, 2, maybe we are at, we are at 200 times speed and stuff. I don't know if that actually makes a difference now that I think about it. Hang on, we can change this. So let's wait until it's turned green again, and I want to just count this out. Minimum of 5 seconds is what's supposed to happen. If this doesn't work, well, then I have no idea. I might just be a big dumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That should have been the that's the maximum, and now it's going for this. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on this for a little bit and see if this made a huge difference. Now, one thing that's great about these is, one, you actually do have that minimum time, so it doesn't just jump between states super duper fast like the vanilla ones do, which is terribly inefficient. But also, we could add multiple junctions onto this traffic light, so all of them change at the same time. And what that would do is ideally mean that this road is one giant timed flow throughput. You can have people enter this junction and they can go through for a certain number of seconds before then it swaps over to a new input, right? And these guys all wait their turn. So you time the lights to hopefully have more efficient traffic going that way. Let's take a look over the Monosponens district. How are we looking? Pretty good. Lots of hotels and stuff going up. Hotel Intercontinental, another branch of that. Crest Resorts, the Grand Hotel. Some souvenirs and stuff? Sure. Where's the Ostrom restaurants and stuff? Clubs? I don't care about clubs. Hotel Beacon. Hotel Haya. Yeah, there's a lot of hotels. I'm looking for restaurants. I want to see, like, some really awesome, like, local Thai food and stuff. Okay, Cafe Paris kind of works. There you go. There we go. Why it has an octopus on it, I don't know. That doesn't seem very Parisian to me, but I don't know, c'est la vie. Best nightclub. Well, if they say they're the best, how could I possibly say that they are incorrect? More Club de la Creme. We got some weird leaning buildings over here. More clubs, sure. The Tea and Biscuits Cafe. Yeah, all that seems pretty good. And then how are we doing at places like the stadium? Not really much use being made over here yet. But again, as this place continues to fill out, I expect that to change. I don't know if there's a map mode where I can actually see the effects of tourism, because that's something I would like. There it is. Okay, so we can see number of tourists coming in, many in all of these locations over here, which is great. So we actually do have a lot of city attractiveness, and we can take a look at attractiveness itself right here and see that we got plenty going on there too. Okay, good. Medium wealth, sure. We're attracting mostly middle-class people, that's fine. Not a lot in the way of exchange students, and by not a lot, I mean none. But we're getting an extra like 1,400 or 1,500 tourists per week just visiting the city and spending their money over here. I mean, that's great, and so far, my public transit seems to be able to handle it just fine and dandy. Oh, and also, Mr. Jusum's Beachfront Natural Preserve has reached level 5. We maxed that sucker right on out. Wow, we're making a pretty good amount of money out of it, too. Good lord, I'm making a lot of money in general. This is awesome. Okay, so what do we get? Some sort of a giant boulder thing? I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to place that on a beach. But I mean, as a matter of celebration, a boulder site, this could be kind of fun. Sure, giant unknown boulders on the beach. Actually, it kind of works. And people are climbing all over them with mats. Actually, this is great. I like it a lot. Hey, you know something else I want to do? Just for the fun of it. Just because I think it's going to look good. Let's go to City Parks over here. And let's place down like a food truck or something down over this area. You know, something like this. And then maybe a couple little food stands kind of like over here or something. I don't know. Is it really important to do this? Absolutely not. Do I think it looks a little bit better on a beach if we actually can sell things here to people? Heck yes. I found out, by the way, there are some other fun things you can do with this traffic manager. For example, I can not clear traffic, vehicle restrictions on certain parts of the road. So for example, over here, I can say we don't want any regular civilian traffic to go through here at all. I want mostly emergency vehicles, recycling, garbage, the taxis, buses, anything else that has to get through here for that. But like civilian cars, you got no reason to be here. Now, I don't need to do this because I don't want to force people to park out over here and have to walk all the way to work. But the idea remains, like, if you're running into a situation where you want just a service road, well, maybe you can actually do that. This mod is incredibly handy. I feel bad for all of you on console who don't have access to this incredible power. Yes, by the way, I did rearrange Foxytrot City Zoo a little bit so that the paths don't have to do this stupid weird thing where they go up and around the road. Instead, now it's just a little bridge and we can walk under it. It's a little bit more space efficient. Let's go back over Myon to the zoo, because I saw that we have bison enclosures, and I want bison, dang it. Bison are an American treasure, thank you very much. We should also go ahead and place down that amphibian enclosure thing we were talking about. There we go. I don't know if I necessarily like the way that zoos naturally want to set themselves up. Like, you don't want to put things in a grid, right? Not in a park. But, like, I don't know. I'm going to need to go through here and, like, place down lots of decorative bushes and stuff before I think this place is going to look very good. But at the very least, it's going to be functional, dang it, and that's good enough for now, I guess. There you go, something like this. Is it very elaborate? No. Does it at least look like we're filling in some space in a way that makes sense for a zoo? Heck yes. Also, the bison is the eternal enemy of a moose. So I want to make sure that we have some sort of a visual barrier between these guys. Whoa, we got ourselves another fire. Okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, I like that the cars are completely unfazed by this. It's like, yeah, this is just a normal thing that happens on the way to work. We just drive directly through it. What's the fire gonna do? It's going directly underneath the bridge. I'm already over the flames. It's fine. Yeah, my tires are coming out a little bit melty, but who's worried? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, how are we doing as far as some of the traffic in the areas I was worried about? These roundabouts appear to be doing the job pretty well. Still struggling for some buildups here, but by the time that this gets built up all the way to the ramp, the light seems to switch, and then we've got time to go ahead and burn through some of this. So overall, it's kind of going all right. I might want to set up the exact same sort of thing right over here, and that might speed things up a little bit as well. One thing that makes absolutely no sense, you can see this happening here, cars are getting into this lane to use the highway to then ignore this entirely. Like, for real. What is it about this that you just don't want to use the obviously faster boulevard? And this is the case on both sides. Every car feels the need to go through a roundabout. It doesn't make any sense because there's really no reason for them to do that. This is just kind of the stupidity that is our AI. So, okay. I'm going to allow this to also go through straight, and let's see if the obsession is just the left lane. Aha! That might be part of it. Weird, because they know they want to turn left to get onto the highway, so they are only in the left lane, which means even though it's directing them only to go left, they'll do so, rather than get over one lane, continue down here, and then go to the left. I don't really understand what judges, like, when they feel like they need to swap to a different lane, but it's apparently very inefficient. Now, here's something interesting. I'm actually starting to get a lot of traffic buildup in this area specifically. Does that mean that a lot of people are trying to go into my leisure and tourist zones? Okay, hey, this is a good sign. I like this. It means that people actually want to make use of all the facilities that I'm providing. Fan-flippin-tastic. All the more reason I need to get up another 500 population to 90,000 so I can change up the highways and the traffic patterns entirely. Come on, guys. You know we want to do it. Oh, gosh, dang it, a tent burned down. Remember how I said there was this whole thing about, like, a disaster response unit? This is it! We just gotta place one down somewhere. I am gonna rename this new neighborhood down over here, by the way. Lemon Soup Sweets. I don't know. It's the best name I could come up with. It's kind of hard to work with lemon soup, okay? Who even has lemon soup? Isn't lemon soup, at the end of the day, really just lemonade? I have no idea. Anyway, this place has been evacuated. Wow, it's a smoldering crater. We'll go ahead and rebuild it, and boom. There you go. Crisis averted and a lot of money spent due to one burned down tent. This is what happens when you guys use your popcorn maker and stuff. It's like when you're at a college dorm. People just don't know how to handle their popcorn at all. You're gonna have an alarm go off like every week, at least once a week. That's basically what's happening here. Hilarious. Oh, I completely forgot, by the way, about Mr. Tweeter's Shiny Emporium. Would you look at that? We're completely out of natural resources over here. You know, I'm actually tempted to just turn on a mod that eliminates this issue entirely. That might seem kind of cheaty, but let's be honest. Like, do I really want to come over here and do this and keep an eye on it all the time? Not really. Is that really the most fun? Nope, not at all. So, oh well. But at least now we're going to start producing some product again, which is great. We're importing a lot, but we're also exporting a lot. So, it apparently doesn't even matter. Oh, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are now in Megalopolis. Okay, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now reached the point of the game where I can do whatever the frick I want. Let's go ahead and purchase a whole bunch of these different tiles on over here, for example. We wanted to be able to expand out here. I now got full access to the highways. Let's go ahead and do something similar off in this direction. I want to be able to buy out the highway areas down over here. I want to be able to buy out things over here. Is this costing a lot of money? Yeah. Do I care? No. Do you see how much money I'm making right now? This is like negligible, all right? Now, one thing that makes me sad is we can't build further down over this direction, but it's okay. What I'm thinking it's time to do is start by building out the new highway loops, right? I'm talking a big one that comes out from this direction and heads into the heart of the city. That was the whole point of this anyway. And the same sort of thing down over here. But in order to try and restrict the traffic that wants to make a shortcut directly into the heart of the city, instead, we're going to go ahead and place down some toll booths so we can at least recoup some losses and maybe incentivize people not to use this area, travel further down over here, and then this becomes a major junction. Now, at the end of the day, that might be a terrible idea. It might turn out that we overburden this area over here. I'm not sure. Another thing I want to do, get rid of all of this over here, push the highway through Old Town, which, yes, means we're going to have to redo some roads and probably knock down a bunch of historic buildings. Start traveling along the railroad over here and end this traffic nightmare. And then probably loop that once again back up over in this direction. That was always the original plan. Now we can see it come to fruition. And once I've got this taken care of, we might be able to start taking advantage of the new airport system that I have yet to be able to try. But let's start with the highways, and we'll work from there. So what if we try an intersection like this? All right, so the 3 lanes go down into 2 over here. You can have 1 get around and turn over into a one-way toll booth, because I want to charge people to go into the city, but I don't want to charge them to leave, because that's in my interest for them to do that. Have a couple lanes split off over here. We kind of widen out to 4 lanes so people have a chance to get into whatever lane they want before it converts down to 2 and then back to 3. I'll be honest, it's kind of ugly how often we have to change the amount of lanes, but I feel like this kind of might work. So we'll give this one a go, and then boom, just like that, we technically now do have a way to get into the city from way down over here. A direct freeway right into the heart of town. Now that does mean that some of these exit lanes might start getting burdened pretty soon, so let's be watching some of that. But we do have cars now about to go into our toll booth. Oh, we need water over here, huh? Okay, fair enough. Hang on, we just go ahead and get some water down over here, and oh, you need power too. You need power too. Ugh, these guys just ask for everything. All right, so now we supply all of that. People get into this, and then they pay the toll, and off they go. And there's plenty of lanes to deal with them, even though they're slow. You know, funnily enough, I actually think I might have solved some of the traffic issues we were having here. And you know why? One little build-up. This was a traffic light, because pretty much anytime you have something join up, like two medium roads or anything up to a large road, it defaults to a traffic light. All I did was turn this into a priority road, with this being a yield sign, since it's all one way anyway. Lo and behold, the cars are able to get through this road without being backed up on a light all the way down here, and look at that! It works. It works so stinking well. Gosh, why aren't yield signs like a default part of the game? That's my question. Now, one thing I am seeing as an issue here is the Modus Ponens District has a few buildings that are not getting enough customers consistently. You know what that means? It means we need to find more ways of getting people into the city, specifically out over here. And more boats could certainly help with that a little bit, good lord. But, you know something else I'd like to go ahead and work on? An airport. We've said we want to do it, and I stand by it. I think it's time to go ahead and paint out an airport area. Probably, honestly, in this corner of the map. I don't know how big our airport area needs to be. It apparently cannot be on... Well, this is weird. It can't be... Does it automatically flatten the land? It does. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, oh, no, this is actually terrible. Wait a minute. I was gonna say, I want to build it in the corner probably. I don't know how large it needs to be. I didn't realize it was gonna flatten this area out completely, though that does make sense. Unfortunately, we do have a situation where I don't have enough soil, so I now need to buy a bunch. Right, okay, well, that's probably gonna be fine. Anyway, let's go ahead and... What's wrong now? Too much soil? Well, now I gotta dump some soil? Oh, for God's sake, this is just gonna cost me tons of money for no reason. This is why some people turn off the soil mechanics. Because they're irritating and no one likes this. It's dumb! Okay, we got this all leveled out. Cost me like $2 million. I kid you freaking not. That is just... I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right, we do need to name this airport, though. Oh, man, this is a big one. What name are we going to go with? Archon Airways, after my relatively new supporter, Archon Landrum. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so we got an airport here. Now we need to build an airport terminal. We need to build an aircraft stand, and we need to build a runway. I've never done this. I have no idea what an effective airport is going to look like. I have to guess that as we build this thing out, it's going to level up just like other airports from like a regional one down to international. That is my assumption. How do we actually do this, though? Airport area. There we go. Okay, so we got a classic airport terminal. We have a two-story terminal. And then we have a modern one. Do we like modern or do we like classical? I mean, I'm kind of a fan of modern, I guess. But classic is classic. I mean, look at it. It's got more depth to it and stuff. That could be nice. Oh, we got others. Ultra modern. Oh, I like that even better. Okay, we got ultra modern. We're probably gonna go for that. I can't unlock anything else until I get one of these terminals placed. My question is, where the frick do I place down terminals? Because I don't know where all the runways are gonna go. Okay, let's assume that the terminals are all gonna be this way, and maybe we have like a somewhat diagonal-ish pattern of runways. Let's plan on that for now, and if that's the case, I want a terminal to go, let's say, over here. Okay? So that is now officially placed. It's got 2 levels to it, which is actually kind of cool. I can have two sets of roads going along with it, and it's automatically got a bus and taxi lane set aside. Ooh. Okay, that's kind of nifty. And then, beyond that, it doesn't say what else I need here. Hang on. Am I sorting by the wrong types of buildings? Modern style, ultra-modern style, landing and aircraft stands. This is what I'm told that I need. Create an airport area and build a terminal. That is what I have done. Taxiway, aircraft stands. I'm confused. I feel like I've placed down a terminal. It literally is called a terminal. Is the issue that I need the roads to be connected? Maybe. Hang on. So, there we go. Okay, yep, it just needed the roads to be connected in some way. So now that it's connected to the highway with this junction over here, we're good to go. Now, I'm kind of anticipating we might have a massive amount of traffic around the airport, so I made this into one giant one-way loop, with 6-lane roads breaking off into 3 different directions, 2 of which going into the airport terminals, the others bypassing it. Hopefully that works. Now we have access to hangars, control towers, and so on, all of various different styles. But we're going to have to come back to that later because I'm kind of out of time for this particular video, and this might take a little bit of playing with. Also, I really want to fix the terrain because I hate the look of all of this. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, I'd ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.